And now this is a very special part of the Freedom Conference dinner that we do each year, the Blankley Fellowship Award. During Steamboat Institute's first few years, 2009 to 2011, we had the good fortune of having Tony Blankley as our panelist, as a panelist and later moderator of our annual Freedom Conference. Tony was truly the face of the Steamboat Institute, and he found that very amusing. Many of you may remember Tony as the press secretary to Newt Gingrich when he was Speaker of the House in the mid-1990s. Tony was also a panelist on the McLaughlin Group, which was the original political talk show, long before Fox News, MSNBC, and all the others even existed. Tony also served as editorial page editor of the Washington Times. When Tony tragically passed away from cancer in 2012, we wanted to do something meaningful to honor his legacy, honor his memory, and build upon his substantial legacy. Shortly thereafter, we announced the formation of the Tony Blankley Fellowship for Public Policy and American Exceptionalism to be awarded annually to an outstanding young journalist or policy influencer who shares the principles and values espoused by Tony Blankley and the Steamboat Institute. And as a reminder, those principles are limited government, limited taxation and fiscal responsibility, free market capitalism, individual rights and responsibilities, and strong national defense. Our fellowship recipients also carry on Tony's legacy of using persuasion and reason, always with good humor and a sartorial flair, never engaging in mudslinging or partisan ranting to make their voices heard. The Blankley Fellowship includes a $10,000 stipend, speaking engagements, travel expenses, robust social media support, and extensive networking opportunities. Each year, beginning in 2014 with the selection of Tom Rogan as our first Blankley Fellow, our Fellowship Selection Committee has a tremendously difficult task in choosing from among the many outstanding applications received. We are honored that one of the members of our selection committee is Ed Meese, who served as the 75th Attorney General of the United States and was a longtime close friend of Tony Blankley. While Mr. Meese was unable to be with us this evening, he wanted to share this brief personal message about the Blankley Fellowship.
Good evening. It's a pleasure for me to be with you tonight at this important dinner of the Steamboat Institute. It not only recognizes the great work that the Institute is doing, but also the outstanding people who have been chosen over the years, and particularly tonight, to have received the Tony Blankley Fellowships. Tony Blankley was a friend of mine and a great American. He was excellent in presenting the best of our country and in recognizing the great potential that we have as a nation, and in order to let people know what their responsibilities were as citizens of this great country. And particularly, he was an inspiration to many people, but that's really what brought about the Blankley Fellowships, was to recognize outstanding young people who have both the communicative ability as well as the policy knowledge in order to talk about how we can make this a better America. The fellows that are here tonight certainly deserve recognition for what they have already accomplished and what they continue to do every year. And we're happy to join in welcoming Carrie as the most recent member of this excellent band of people. So I hope you'll enjoy the evening, and I hope you'll be happy to meet the fellows and to recognize what they have been doing and what they will do in the future. Thank you.
And now it's a great pleasure to introduce you to our 2020 Blankley Fellowship recipient, Patrice Onwuka, who is going to present this year's Fellowship Award. Patrice is the director of the Center for Economic Opportunity with the Independent Women's Forum and a senior fellow with the Philanthropy Roundtable. We are very proud of Patrice's work as a Blankley Fellow. Earlier this year, Patrice moderated one of our Campus Liberty Tour debates at CU Boulder on social justice and identity politics between Jason Riley of the Wall Street Journal and Donna Brazil, former head of the DNC. This debate received thousands of views online, and many thought it was the best of all the debates we have hosted. Please give a warm welcome to Patrice Onwuka to present this year's Tony Blankley Fellowship Award.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you to the esteemed Steamboat family, all of the board members, everyone who's contributed to make this organization as strong and as great as it is. 1 year ago, I stood before you and talked about my family story, and I dedicated this honor to two people, high school educated immigrants from the Caribbean, who sold everything, started over in a poor inner city neighborhood in Boston in the 80s in the middle of the drug epidemic. Knew no one had, we had 5 suitcases of clothes when we landed in this country. Spent quite a lot of money on the immigration process to come here legally, but really believed in America. And they looked 30 years down the line and saw me, and I don't know, but I think they saw me standing in a position where I could be defending this country, defending what makes it great, reminding everyone, reminding people of every stripe and every belief system that what makes us great is not what divides us, it's what unites us. And we have common principles, common values. And you know, it's funny, my mom will say, I couldn't have imagined that I would turn on the TV after church on Sunday and hear a familiar voice and look up and see you. I couldn't have imagined that I would, hear that you are testifying before Congress, pushing back against Democrats, saying that women are victims in this economy, in this labor force, but actually pushing forward for women's rights. I couldn't have imagined you'd be moderating great discussions like the one that was just mentioned between Jason Riley and Donna Brazil. But these are the opportunities that have been afforded to me in this country. Excuse me. I still tear up thinking about it because this is a place of opportunity. My story is like one of those that we heard talked about today, those testimonies that you can overcome obstacles, that race, that ethnicity, that your background do not have to hold you back, that you can move forward in life and achieve anything that you want to achieve. And I am pleased. I'm pleased and honored because I'm not the only testimony in this room. Well, we're outside tonight, but here, there's another great testimony, and you're about to hear a little bit from that person. That's Carrie Sheffield. This is a woman who I've known for a few years now, and I've been amazed at her tenacity, her passion for truth, for things that are right, for defending, for uplifting, for pushing forward. She's very humble, so she might not tell you that she started her own media company, television. There were some major networks that were looking at her company saying, wow, they're an up and rising competitor. She's someone who rose from poverty, from a very tough background, to accomplish what she has. She's been in the White House press briefing room in times. I mean, she's been everywhere and done so much. But most importantly, and I think this is where we connect, she's a woman of faith. And she's not afraid to share that faith and how her faith marries her belief and her love for this country. And I think it reflects so well in so many of us who feel the same way. So it's my pleasure and my honor to present the 2021 Blankley Fellowship to Carrie Sheffield. Please, Carrie, join me.
Thank you, Patrice, my sister from another mister. In case you couldn't tell, we did not plan our outfits. We just think so much alike. So thank you all for this great honor, and I know I stand between you and your meal, so I will try to keep it tight. It's so lovely to be here in God's beautiful creation. I don't want to be petty, but I'm from Utah, which is the neighboring state, and I actually think Utah's more beautiful. And we actually have better skiing. And the truth of the matter is, we've actually held a Winter Olympics, 2002. Colorado, you've never held an Olympics. So let me give some advice to my Colorado friends. Maybe you should take a cue from your next door neighbors, shake off your pot-induced Rocky Mountain high, and you too could host the world stage in your beautiful natural environment. Now I jest, but I'm only engaging in a little friendly state competition. And we here at Steamboat, we believe in competition. That's part of the American way, and it's part of federalism. I am so honored to carry this fellowship in honor of Tony Blankley. I was privileged to work for Tony as an editorial writer at the Washington Times. For tonight, I actually dug up my 2007 offer letter from Tony Blankley. I had it in my archives, and it was so nice to see his handwritten signature here at the bottom. Now, there's nothing really remarkable about this letter. It just goes through, the mechanics of getting hired, things like my pay rate, crappy if you're a journalist, requesting my tax forms. But it does show that he believed in capitalism because it's laying out our business contract. Now, Tony knew that capitalism is a vital building block for a free society. It is far more efficient at allocating resources than government. And we've seen this unfold in real time during the COVID crisis. We are learning more each day how government failure to contain a Chinese government-run lab, quite possibly funded by your and my tax dollars, appears to have given us this horrific scourge. We're still gathering the facts, but it appears we've had a twist on President Reagan's line. The most terrifying words in the English language are, "I'm from the government, and I'm here to help you develop gain-of-function viruses." While government appears to have created this vile China virus, it was capitalism that provided the cure. Through rapid-fire private sector vaccine development, and it was government getting out of the way that also helped too. Without sacrificing quality, through President Trump's Operation Warp Speed, University of Chicago economists estimated that speeding up the arrival of the vaccines by 6 months, this is a great op-ed these economists wrote in the Wall Street Journal, it was worth $1.8 trillion to the US economy and more to the rest of the world. So remember that. The next time your woke, virtue-signaling liberal friends or family try to demonize you for knowing that free enterprise is one of the primary engines to end human misery. Tony Blankley's widow, Linda, she's not here tonight because she's helping fight the slaughter of innocents in Afghanistan. From her home in Virginia, she's helping evacuate men, women, and children. Linda also helped my brother and I. My brother Sam Sheffield is a captain in the U.S. Army Reserves. For the past 5 days, we have frantically worked together on encrypted apps and Google Documents with one of his former Army supervisors to help an Afghan family escape. One family member was an interpreter for the U.S. Army, the other a Fulbright scholar with an American university degree who worked for human rights in Afghanistan. We were able to get 5 of the 7 to Germany, and now they're en route to Fort Lee in Virginia. Praise God. The other 2, yes, the other 2 are still trapped, and we are doing all we can, and we would appreciate your prayers for them and all who are still trapped. This was a harrowing ordeal for Najib, the Fulbright scholar, who gave me permission tonight to share his story. We spoke on a WhatsApp call just after he had spent 10 hours traversing around the Kabul airport, trying to enter with his wife and 3 young children. From the airport landing strip, I could hear a plane taking off in the background, and it momentarily muffled our communication. I wish I had recorded that sound. We joked that it was the sound of freedom. It would be another horrific nearly 24 hours inside the airport compound in the midst of yesterday's bombing before Najib and his family safely arrived in Germany. Najib is shell-shocked. He is understandably upset at how America has handled this withdrawal and prays somehow that we will make things right. Najib devoted his life to the same ideals that we hold as Americans and as we hold here at the Steamboat Institute. We know that our rights as human beings flow from our Creator, as has been said very aptly in our prayer. But the Taliban believes that the rights of the Afghan people flow from them. This is a lie from hell. As our city streets here in America tragically rioted and burned, The flame of American exceptionalism is dimming in both our most elite and most vulnerable areas. The toxic ideologies of cultural Marxism and critical race theory tear at the foundations of American exceptionalism. They tear at the dream of Dr. Martin Luther King, who prayed for a country that rewards character instead of skin color. Our American forefathers laid the blueprint for us to seek happiness, a revolutionary concept not accessible to the common man or woman elsewhere amid the world's oligarchies and dictatorships. And while certainly our history is besotted with sins and error, we are a society that has constantly marched toward a more perfect union. We are a society that is wealthier, more generous, productive, and creative than all others. We are a nation that preserves global stability through robust military presence that does not seek conquest, rather cooperation. We are a nation that empowers women, people of color, the disabled, and the vulnerable to achievements not seen anywhere else. Yeah, America. Tony Blankley understood all of this through his encyclopedic knowledge of history and human affairs. He also understood that we can only preserve these gifts by constant vigilance and pursuit of virtue. I carry one of the many torches that Tony Blankley helped light along this journey, his journey, and I thank you again for this honor given in his name. Thank you.
We're just presenting Carrie with the official plaque for the Tony Blankley Fellowship. And if there are Tony Blankley Fellows here,
Very quickly, Jillian Melcher, any of our other Tony Blankley Fellows who are here, come up to the stage really quickly. This is the really fun part. We've got to do this or everyone will be really disappointed.
Hadley.
Oh, Hadley, yes, Hadley. I think that was it. Okay, so Tony Blankley was known for being quite the snappy dresser. And he always wore these saddle Oxford shoes that were very distinctive, different colors. So every year, the Blankley Fellow recipient gets a pair of Cole Haan Oxford shoes. This year, they happen to be white. And we've got a couple of them on here. So, Carrie, your shoes.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes.